Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talks on Tuesday. I'm hosting today, and I'm here with my no normal cohorts, Barbara, Julie, and Mary, and all our friends joining us. And my friend Prabha is here for the first time. And just to let her know what this is, because I asked her to come and she said, "What is this about?" And I didn't really have time to message her and tell her, but we just get together at this time at, which may not be a very good time for Prabha in news if she's back home in New Zealand. But we get together at this time, same time every week on the same day every week, Tuesday, and we call this Talks on Tuesday. And then after we're done recording for a half hour, we post it on our YouTube page called Talks on Tuesday. And you can usually find the photo on YouTube. It's kind of purple and dragonflies, and it's really cool. And today the topic is cosmic friendship, and I totally made it up out of the air, and I'm not prepared at all. And the reason I really kind of chose this topic is because I just wanted to rely on my cosmic friends to help me through today. And so cosmic friendship. Um, does that, I think, you know, I don't really have a best friend. And in a lot of ways, I think I've kind of created that for myself at this point in my life. But I do know that this topic probably has a lot to do with our self friendship, our relationship with ourself, and um, uh, being, at least for someone in kind of my position in life or where I am currently, it's just like I create my I create my reality. I have to like myself at the end of the day. I'm probably my own best friend. I have a wonderful husband and we're really good friends. I don't know if we're best friends. Well, actually he does have a best friend and he I get a little jealous sometimes, but let's see what Renee says in the chat. She says, the rest of us are not normal, but we add some flavor to the conversation. Yes. I and but in a lot of ways, this is a ideal cosmic friendship of the new era. We're all on Zoom meeting from all around the world. I was really, if Anka watches this in person, I was really in replay. I was really hoping she'd show up today. She must be working or something. But I really thought of her on the topic of a cosmic friendship. And I'm just going to open it up to what you guys would like to talk about today and share. All are welcome. And I just love hearing from you guys and where you are in your point of view right now. Smiley face from Gordy in the chat. Hi, honey. And Cecilia, go ahead.
Hi. Well, I would like to open up the parameters of cosmic friendship because it's infinite, you know. When you say cosmic friendship, that includes everybody and everywhere on all levels, in all dimensions. And I feel it's just people that you are drawn to and who are drawn to you, who all of a sudden you match. It's like, oh, I've got so much to share with you. And you just want to spill and you feel comfortable and you feel heard and you feel like you can share without judgment. I think that that for me is a cosmic friend. I'm saying this very much on the heels of I know about the telepathy tapes. Has anybody heard about the telepathy tapes? It's this study, not well, it's a compilation of research that's been going on with autistic children who are nonverbal. And it turns out that they are incredibly brilliant, incredibly aware, and they have incredible communication skills non-verbally, and
Wow.
they are telepathic. They read the minds of the people around them, and they read the minds of the
Wow.
people who are also nonverbal. And it's beautiful. And they, as a group, need some place to communicate. And so they go to this place on the hill, is what they call it, the place on the hill. And all of them, no matter where they are in the world, they just go there to communicate with each other and talk about the things that are going on, and what do I do about this and what do I do about that? And they get together non-physically and non-verbally, but they communicate.
Wow.
And so that's
Mhm.
what I think is a cosmic friend. It's somebody that you can communicate with in any way that comes from, and that can hear you, and that you can share with without judgment, is what I think. But
Yes,
the
yes.
telepathy tapes, I recommend them. And oh, I'm also going to put because when I heard about it, it reminded me in the chat. I'm going to place this because in 2012, I remember seeing this wonderful, wonderful um, piece on 2020 or whatever, and it was about this girl called Carly, and she says, "I am Carly," and the thing is, she's autistic, and she could not communicate verbally, and she couldn't be understood with her physical challenges that would go on, and she would rip her clothes off, she would do fecal smearing, she would all kinds of things would be happening with her. And then um, somehow they put a computer in front of her and she starts to type, and she says help, and she says all kinds of things, and all of a sudden she's able to communicate, and they're saying what's going on. And so she was able to finally let him know that I do this because I have so much information showing up at the same time. And every time I look at somebody, 1,000 pictures are taken, and I can, and there's just, so it's communication overload basically. So that's why
Mm.
she can't see or look at people directly in the eyes, because she gets too much information. And so,
Wow.
and it's
Interesting.
and the rants or whatever is because she's feeling, it feels like my skin is on fire, or it feels like 1,000 ants are crawling all over me. And so that's why she has to do stuff to get her attention where she can be settled, basically. So it's a really
Mm.
interesting uh, compilation, the telepathy tapes, but it reminded me of this thing I saw years ago. It's like this, of course. And oh, what really caught me was the family talking, and the dad was saying, I was, to find out that she understands and she has all this wisdom. And he goes, I was horrified to think of the conversations we had in front of her, thinking that she couldn't understand us. And
Mm.
and so it's amazing how brilliant they are, but they're just
Yeah.
in this other place. But they have cosmic friendships all over and are communicating with people all over the world who also are nonverbal. And that's what I think cosmic friendship is.
That was
Yes.
great.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Oh, did you want to say something else to follow up, or and then I
Oh,
can
I
jump
was
in?
just going to say, it also reminds me of a movie I watched on Netflix, and I watched it with Gordy. I can't remember the name of the movie, but maybe one of you guys have watched it. It was basically about uh, a gentleman. He grew up. He I think he lived in Europe somewhere, and in over sometime during this new century, and he had a debilitating disorder where physically he kind of um his symptoms increased over time, where he was he was in a wheelchair full time, and his communication skills really went down, but he ended up um playing a lot of video games online, and he had a whole life in the video game world. where he had a body and, you know,
Mm.
everything. And did anybody watch that movie? I'm gonna next time we're together, I'll look up the title, but it was a movie worth watching, and it
Sounds
reminded
like
me of that. Where
Avatar.
yeah, it was like a real life Avatar, and it wasn't till after he passed away due to his increasing symptoms of his um, you know, fatal eventually fatal disorder. I think he died maybe somewhere in his 20s, but it
Wow.
wasn't until after he passed away when his parents had his passwords and they went on and shared with they knew he had some sort of an online life and they shared with, you know, like an email, maybe it was a Facebook Messenger or something that said that he had passed away. And then just it just got flooded back to the parents about how much he was important in their lives. And the parents were just floored because they felt like their son had no life. He lived a limited life. He was limited in love and relationships and friendship, but evidently they were wrong in the end, and he had a beautiful online life that meant a lot to other people.
I did see that. And yeah, it was fantastic. In fact, didn't people start showing up at his house? And his parents were like, whoa, what?
That they came to his
W-
funeral in the end.
Something, yeah.
Was
Yeah,
this a
that
documentary? Was it a
yeah,
It's
documentary?
like a
it was, I think
moving
it was
base.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I just wanted to touch base with what Cecilia was saying
Okay.
because getting back to cosmic friendship, when I first read about the topic this morning, I thought of like a little ET, popping down on my lap and saying, "Hey, hey there." And then my thoughts kind of went off to kind of what you were thinking of or mentioning, Cecilia, I think about just seeing somebody and just having that knowing about them, and that is somebody who you never met who lives across the globe, but you see them and there's this connection and it's so cool. And then when you were talking about the nonverbal communication, it took me back a little bit to last week what we were talking about and how I was mentioning that research study where where scholars thought that if people couldn't communicate, they couldn't really think. If they didn't have language, they couldn't think. And how absurd that seemed. And then they finally realized that wasn't the case. But this just goes to prove. And again, I think it's just part of that whole cosmic connection that we're all so connected with. And that's kind of what it means to me, is this that connection for all of us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It does relate back to what we talked about last week, Barbara. You're right about um, you know, your ability to form sentences and speak has nothing really to do with your connection to consciousness. Go
Right.
ahead, Darren.
Oh, yeah. I was getting lost in the conversation. Um, and mostly because as I was hearing, whenever I hear about people who are autistic and are frustrated or in any way with the physicality of communication, I can totally relate. I know I seem like I'm normal, but quote normal, but I can relate to a lot of the autistic experiences. And which takes me to the cosmic friendship thing. And what I thought of when this idea was presented was my expectations of friendship are shifting and changing, and it's really cool how what used to be a friend was like my roommates and like people I lived with and or worked with or whatever, and now it's people that I have Zooms with, and then sometimes they show up at my door. Even though they live in other states, we can still get together. But what's very interesting to me is people that I have cultivated friendships with on these Zooms and haven't met yet physically are amazing friends, and they are helping me with things to accomplish things in my life that I've been wanting to do my entire life. And I haven't even seen these people in person or met these people in person. And it's really interesting just to explore what that is, what's happening there on this dimension and other dimensions like Celia was talking about. So this is a huge, huge topic. So one of those ones we could go on for, several more meetings. But yeah, I dig it.
I would just like to continue
Go
on
ahead.
just a little bit because I encourage you to listen to the tapes because these people have their communication, but they want to share because they are reading your minds, they are connecting, and they are understanding what is going on. But the people who are caring for them, the people who are their teachers, the people who are, helping them in their groups, one of the people interviewed was saying that, she would be talking at the front of the room and then all of a sudden the group would be laughing and they would have this inside joke or whatever. And she knew that they were communicating and something was going on. And so in her mind, she just said, I want in on this. And so the kids helped her to learn to communicate with them in that way. And it was brilliant and beautiful. And so that she learned how to be telepathic with them. And it was amazing. So
Wow.
anyway, I wanted to share that.
Yeah.
I can share something.
Go ahead, Prabha.
I actually work with an autistic person, and I can understand that cosmic friendship, what you said. Our relationship is non-verbal, but very understandable. I'm very connected with her, and she's just very aligned with what's going to happen in a day and what we're going, when she wants coffee, when she wants to have a shower. And it's amazing. It's so much love between us. Yeah. I can understand that.
Yes.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that.
Great. And it's so great to have you here. I just wanted to say before I give it to Barbara, Gordy put in the chat for us the name of the movie on Netflix. It's called The Remarkable Life of Iblin. And Ibelin, Iblin. That was that was the gentleman's online character's name in the whatever video game he played. But and then also, Barbara will probably share what she just put in the chat. Go ahead, Barbara, and share about what you said in the chat.
Oh, that's not what I was going to talk about, but yeah,
okay.
when Mary and I just to follow up on what Doreen was saying about knowing people on Zoom, and we became very close with a couple people who lived over in Europe, and we would see them on Zoom quite a bit and just got to know them on a really deep level. But then when we met them in person a couple years ago, it just took it to a different level. It was really interesting. And it was just so immediate, just again, that connection was just so, but what I was actually why I raised my hand was to follow up on what Prabha was saying, as far as just having that loving connection with somebody who's nonverbal and who has a relationship with you. And I was thinking of my pets, and then right then Julie's cat Willie walked across the screen and made his debut again this week. And I mean, there's definitely a cosmic friend there. And I was looking in the paper today about somebody who became a veterinarian, and she was all excited. She got her degree and she was working with animals, and she had this gorgeous dog with her in the picture. And I looked at that dog and I just felt this love for it. It was so beautiful. And it's like, that's my cosmic friend. So it's kind of unlimited, I think.
Yeah. And
I can totally relate to that.
And when Cecilia made her first comment at the start of our little Zoom here, I kind of got a kick in the pants because I kind of got a kick in the gut emotionally, because I can't remember what it was that she said that reminded me, but at the beginning of this Zoom, I was kind of having a little pity party for myself about, not having a best friend. But last night, I don't often dream about my grandpa, but last night I had a very vivid dream where we went to he was near the end of his life the last couple of years, but we went to Italy and we went to a gathering of his family. And I just felt overcome with emotion because I remembered how much he was my best friend. But I think in that dream last night, we definitely spent some time together. And so I feel like I kind of got reminded of that friendship that I kind of forgot for a moment, but
Yeah.
Do you think that's what made you think about the topic today, Charles? Cosmic friendship?
it could have been maybe, yeah,
No, that's sweet.
without connecting the dots exactly.
Nice.
It was a wonderful dream. It went on for what seemed like a couple hours of just seeing him visit with his relatives, where he just shined around other people, because he was such a giving personality. But yeah, so no sense of lack here, right here now, because I just remember him. Yeah. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, these friendships are eternal. They can also be sudden and momentary. When you suddenly strike up a friendship, maybe just because you're sitting next to someone on a plane and you'll never see them again, but in that moment, you have that connection. One thing I do when I'm traveling is when I see a dog I think is cute, I usually walk up and say, "Do you mind if I take your dog's picture?" And there is an instantaneous connection between me and that person and the dog that, "Oh, you love my dog. I love my dog too." And it's those connections, I think. They're like synapses in the brain, and we're one big brain, and these are synapse friendships are firing all the time. There are, of course, immediate enmities, like, didn't like that. But, we can let those go.
Or see them for what they are,
Yeah.
which is just mirrors of ourself.
Indeed. Yes.
Yep. Go ahead, Doreen.
Oh, I was just being reminded of I think is it Rupert Sheldrake that talks about the morphic fields?
Yes.
And I really love that idea because I feel like a lot of our lives are spent in the morphic fields, with, different types of beings, in the physical and non-physical. And I just like the idea that, you can make friends out there in the morphic field. And in doing that, that has an effect on the friendships here in this physical life that we have. Yeah. Multi-dimensional cosmic friendships. Whoop, whoop.
Yes. Anybody else like to share? Louis Therese, do you have it? Go ahead.
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Kelsey, I think it was a very interesting topic that you had chosen for today. And the fact that your grandfather had come and visit you, I think, but you feel that you had the interaction with him for quite a while on a very intense level. Perhaps it is a kind of message that we must be more prepared and open ourselves to be able to reach out to our loved ones that had passed over. And that there is a veil that perhaps is being lifted, and that we can still communicate. I don't know. It is such an amazing topic, and your dream. It is as if there is more to it than just by coincidence.
Yes, you're probably right. I'm realizing that now. Yeah. And it's funny you have those moments in life, because I had just been shopping at the antique mall yesterday, and I only came home with a couple things, but one of them was this lovely hanky, and it's just funny that it was just sitting right there, right when I needed it.
Yeah. No, that is very, very interesting. And
Yeah.
but what I would like to say is, um, I have found that making friends on over distance, it is exactly the same as when you do a reconnection healing. You have to wait for that connection of the different vibrations that ease together. And once that is eased, I can say for each and every reconnection I have done, that is a personal friend in my brain and heart, because the intensity of that healing process and the time that you have shared, it is a definite, undeniable, special, personal, individual part between me and that person. And I find that is exactly the same with our Zoom friends that we are talking. And, each and every one of us had a specific character, and yet we are all tuned into that person and things like that. So that's
Yes.
just my take for tonight.
I think
Mary?
you're onto
Thank
something there. Yeah, it really all just comes down to vibration and meeting vibration, joining vibrations. It really does come down to that in so many levels, and that's why it doesn't have to be just verbal. Well, thank you guys for joining us today, and I know it was an odd time for you, Prabha, but thank you for joining us, and maybe we'll see you next week. Good to see you, Renee and Gino, and love you all. See you next
Thanks.
week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.